The guards selected Garrig, Hishar, Jimjar, and Prince Durndil for a different sort of task. They were escorted out of the pen. After an hour or so, they were returned to us. When I saw Garrigg's ragged shirt torn and covered in blood, I ran over to him quickly. I wept a little as I tried cleansing his wounds with the little water we had from the trough and a torn piece of my skirt that remained. Lady Lex managed to find some cave moss. She chewed on it and covered his wounds, trying to seal them. According to Garrig and Ashar, they were taken to the guard tower that overlooks our pen as they were crossing the bridge. One of the guards showed Ashar nearly knocking her off the bridge to the monstrous spiders that lay below in their webs. Hearing this, it angered me. Garrig then told us that their task was to clean the tower guard's armor and weapons, and while he was performing the task, he made a mistake and was punished for it. Ashar said just before they commenced his punishment, she tried to plead with the guards to take his place. Sadly, she only earned her ire and succeeded in being nearly punished herself for speaking out. The drow guard used a scourge that was made out of spider silk and barbs. Garrig sadly received 15 lashes. When we finished with addressing Garrick's wounds, I noticed that Prince Durndil seemed to be struggling at the sight of the blood, as if bloodlust was trying to take over. A few moments later, my own stubbornness got the better of me. I tried to cast a spell that I personally developed. When doing so, a drow guard overheard me, and he fired an arrow laced with drow poison. It hit me, and it knocked me out. Verbryn came over to me, and he slapped me to wake me up, after which my fighter instincts took over and I shoved him into the dirt of the pen. After seeing this, Durndil came over and he started to speak to us in Elvish, seemingly trying to tell us something. I got the sense he was trying to tell us to stop. According to the others, because of my outburst with the casting attempt, I caused an altercation with the guards and a few of the others. After everything had calmed down, we checked up on Stool and Bobito. Unfortunately, because Lady Lex's and Narendara's magic was being suppressed, they were not able to cast any curing spells to remove the poison from the mushrooms we harvested earlier, so they had to wait until it wore off. After everything has settled down, we decided to inspect the pen. During our observations, Lady Lex found a crevasse that contained a large stone that was large enough to be used as a club. I decided to inspect the door from a slight distance. I noticed that there seemed to be no guards at the door for the moment. Perhaps their patrol pattern is much larger area instead of standing by the door, I wondered. From what Garrick and Ashar told us earlier, the armor and weapons they had to clean were from the guards at the top of the tower. So more than likely, they're the ones who keep watch over the door. Lady Lex got the idea to try her little spider companion's spider silk for something. But something tells me the little guy wouldn't be able to produce enough in the short period of time to do anything. Topsy and Turvy told us about the slaves who passed on and how they were dealt with. They said if a prisoner died, the other slaves in the pen had to drag their bodies over to the edge, where the spiders dwelt below, and toss the bodies to the webs below. After a few hours, the guards returned to our pen to gather more of us for another labor task. They selected Lady Lex, Topsy, and Turvy, and to my great surprise, I was chosen once again over Narendara. They led the four of us across the first bridge. We passed through the tower and across the second bridge. The dim lighting made it difficult to try and memorize the area. Once across, we were led to a shrine dedicated to the god Loth. When we entered, we saw a giant spider statue standing in the middle of the shrine that was so lifelike that it could pass for a real spider to someone with an untrained eye. Black, colored wax candles flickered in the darkness in silver candlesticks. We were greeted, so to speak, by Priestess Asha Findre. Asha told us that our task was to clean and clear her pet's web around the statue. During the clearing of the webs from around the statue, Topsy and Turvy didn't clear them properly, which irritated the large spider pet that emerged from the shadows and bit both of them, poisoning them. Lady Lex also mishandled the webbing in this task. Just as the large spider pet was about to bite her, Lady Lex covered her face and was trying to say that she was a follower of the spider god from her own kingdom of Oratella. As she pleaded, the spider didn't bite her. Strangely, after the cleaning of the webs from around the statue, Priestess Asha had the guards escort Topsy and Turvy back to the pen. Then, she asked Lady Lex and me over to her sitting area, where we kneeled before her. She asked us to remove her gloves, and before I could move, Lady Lex had already done so, which took me by surprise, considering she doesn't normally like manual labor. During our conversation with the Priestess Asha, she showed us her disgust at being the sixth circle, and she craves more status. She asked us some questions about our thoughts of men, and especially about Lady Lex's husband. Our answers took her by surprise. I did say that Lady Lex's husband was kind of a weak man. She believed that Lady Lex and I held some value because of the respect we showed for her and to the god Loth, from both how well I cleared the webs from the statue and the answers we given her. She then rang a small bell, and a lone male guard entered the shrine. When the summoned guard entered the dimly lit area, we could see it was Jorlin Duskgren. Asha told him that Lady Lex and I held value. After hearing those words, he suddenly cut my chin in his hand and looked at my face as if he was inspecting me, and I could feel my eyebrow raise, but I kept calm and looked back at him curiously. Jorlin protested at first until Asha gave him her favor. This seemed to please him greatly. Asha asked him to personally escort Lady Lex and me back to the pen. When I looked at Jorlin, I could see that he has been maimed. His face is scarred, and his sword hand is slightly twisted and is missing two of his fingers. As he escorted us back, he started conversing with us. At one point, I told him I could still see much strength in him. He actually smiled and straightened out, and he began to walk more proudly. We stopped at the tower, and he asked us some questions. At one point, he asked us what would we do if we escaped, if we would just run, or if we would eliminate our captors. Lady Lex did most of the talking, saying we would do it with as little bloodshed as possible. Then she started speaking about the sea spiders around the beaches of Oratella. Then she performed some strange dance, claiming it was to honor the sea spiders. When we arrived back at the pen, I misspoke and called Jorlin by his first name. He turned towards me with a fire in his eyes, a stern tone, clearly upset, and said, "Master Duskgren." I lowered my head and I curtsied and I addressed him as Master Duskgren, and then I asked for his forgiveness. After entering the pen, Lady Lex and I informed our friends about what happened after Topsy and Turvy left. Then we told everyone that Jorlin had informed us that the supply caravan was unusually late. Ront suddenly jumped up gleefully, and with an excited clap, he told us that when the supply caravan runs late, the slaves are forced to go on a hunt for food. After some talk, we finally were able to rest. Not knowing what the time of day is down here is really annoying. Trying to track the time passing by with rest. To be continued, fellow adventurers.